Asia is at war again, and we are in the thick of it. As the decades-old conflict reignites, we bring you the most comprehensive coverage from Tel Aviv. Who is making gains? How is the world reacting? And what is the fallout? We'll be here bringing you all the action through the non-stop sirens and the flying rockets to bring you the full story. Catch all the live action from this West Asian war zone. It is day 3 of this war between Israel and Hamas, and as you saw in that report, we heard sirens being sounded in southern and central Israel amid a barrage of rockets from Hamas. So the fighting is very much on. The IDF says that they've targeted 800, they've struck 800 Hamas targets in Gaza, so they're fighting back. At least 7 to 8 locations have reported gunfights in southern Israel. The hostage situation remains very much active. The Palestinians, the Hamas group, has taken 100 Israelis hostage, and another group that calls itself Islamic Jihad has taken another 30 people hostage, which complicates Israel's response to this situation, because when they fire rockets, when they attack Hamas targets in Gaza, there is a real risk of Israeli civilians also being caught in the crossfire. In fact, some reports from quoting Hamas say that Israeli action is targeting their own people. I think that was the idea all along when they came to take hostages. As you would know, the death toll overall is crossing 1,100 now. More than 700 casualties on the Israeli side, more than 400 in Gaza. And the fighting is, as I said, still on. 260 bodies were recovered at the site of the music festival in Israel. So that was one of the bigger points of attack for the Hamas terrorists. Meanwhile, as you saw from the airport, people are still pouring in, but multiple airlines have suspended or scaled down their operations into and out of Israel. That is the situation at the moment. Absolutely, this is what the Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has said, that they've ordered a full siege of Gaza. And I'm quoting from what he said: there is no electricity, there is no food, there is no water, there is no fuel. On the day of the attacks, on Saturday, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had told Gazans unequivocally that leave now, because we are going to come back with a very strong response, and that is what Israel seems to be doing, and they're getting support from their Western allies. The US, as you know, is promising military support and more, and they have diverted some of their military assets to regions closer to Israel. So America is backing Israel to the hilt. The French have spoken in support of them. Even in West Asia, we've seen countries like the UAE that have denounced what Hamas has done. So support for the Gazan terrorist group shrinking even within the region. We know that they have support in Hezbollah, and Iran, of course, continues to back them. But this is the situation at this point, and it's very, very fluid. The Israeli forces are targeting not just targets in Gaza. There is also fear of the war spilling towards Lebanon and the border with Lebanon, given the latest instances that we saw of Hezbollah also targeting Israelis there. So it's a very, very fluid situation at this point, and with more reports coming in of a potential Iranian hand, although Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, said that they do not have proof of Iran's involvement. More and more reports point to an Iranian hand, and how this was planned and executed with support from the Iranian agencies. So this is going to get more complicated in the days ahead. Any way you look at it, this was a colossal failure of Israeli intelligence. Was it hubris? Was it overconfidence that led to this humiliation? They've ordered an investigation to figure out what went wrong. But this is a country that prides itself in having a very, very strong and robust intelligence mechanism. They are the strongest army in West Asia. They warded off attacks in the past. They are surrounded by hostile neighbors, and they have been surrounded by hostile neighbors since the inception of the Israeli state. Given this history, given the fact that they were heading into a normalization deal with Saudi Arabia that would have unsettled a lot of regional players. The fact that Israel did not see this coming is truly shocking. It is not possible for Hamas militants and Hamas terrorists to have gathered 5,000 or 7,000 or however many rockets they fired at Israel overnight. This is an operation that would have been conceived for days and months, and Israel did not see this coming. At the border, they have very, very sensitive and sophisticated mechanisms and radar sensors and all sorts of latest technology to ensure that there is no infiltration, there is no breach. And yet we saw the pictures that we did on Saturday of bulldozers coming and ripping apart the border fencing. So this is a failure, and heads will roll. But at this point, I think everyone in the Israeli system is focused on fighting the fight that Hamas started this time. Like we said in that report, on the plane we saw a lot of reservists coming in. We know that the former Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, and others like him have joined the forces again, and they've gone back to fight for Israel. So at this point, the focus is completely on dealing with the threat at hand. But I'm sure in the days and weeks ahead, we will see more in terms of what this investigation has found on the intelligence failure, the signals intelligence, the human intelligence. They've failed at every level.